Hey guys, wonder if anybody's out there watching. I just got home a little while ago and I figured, it's just a beautiful day and I got a few things watered in the garden. So I figured I'd do a little live stream here because live streaming is a lot of fun. Current temperature here on Salt Spring Island at our end of the island is 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And current humidity is 40% humidity. And there is a slight ocean breeze out of the south west. So aloha to you folks out there and cheers. If any of you guys are tuned in, you could be out there playing in your exotic gardens. And I had a good day at work. It was a beautiful day and a nice temperature for working. So hopefully you guys did see my video that I uploaded yesterday on microclimates when I was down on the very south end of our island. And hopefully you learned a little something about microclimates. Weather follower, hello. How's it going there, buddy? Yeah, hopefully you watched that video on microclimates. A lot of people don't realize they have microclimates within their property, within their own property, and it is very important to know your microclimates when you're growing marginal plants and certain types of tender palm trees. Place them in the right location is everything, especially when winter cold comes and you have those things stuck out right out in the open and they get fried. So if you get a tender palm tree, put it up close to your building, keep it out of the wind, and hopefully it'll do a lot better in a warm microclimate than it would in a cold microclimate. So, and yeah, a lot of people just are not aware of microclimates, and they're all around us. I'll tell you a little story about a microclimate. There's a big farm not too far from us. It's about 120 acres. Guy's been farming it for generations, the family. And every year we go out there and pick out pumpkins for the kids at the pumpkin patch when the kids were small. And I remember one October, it was mid-October, and I looked at that pumpkin patch and I said to myself, "That has been some heavy frost here. All the leaves were fried on the pumpkin patch, totally frosted." And up by her house, up on the top of a slope, she gardened up here. The pumpkin patch was down here on the lower slope, and up here where the bananas were totally fine, undamaged by the cold. But down here, it went down. So her house was up here, and the pumpkin patch was down here on the lower slope near the bottom, and that's where the frost was. And I asked the owner, Malcolm, longtime farmer here. I said, looks like your pumpkins have been frosted mid-October and your bananas look fine. He says it's 5 degrees colder down there. He knows his microclimate. He says 5 degrees colder down there. It heats up when they get the sun, but they're also subject to early frost. So the pumpkins were big. Everything was fine. Everything was matured, but the leaves had been frosted by mid-October. And that's the way it is here too. So we garden up here on this top ridge of our property, and down below we have a deep ravine. I wish I could take the computer and flip it around and show you, but it's probably about, oh God, 150 feet lower than our top garden, and it goes down into the deep ravine. And down in the deep ravine, they are more subject to early frosts down there. I believe that is because cold air sinks. It is. Cold air is like water and it does sink, and that's why they have frost hollows. So much better to garden here than down here. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that too. And like when I did work in the nursery trade, and I worked in the nursery trade for about 10 years here on Salt Spring Island, a big nursery. And often I would get people come in and they would want a certain plant because they spotted it in their friend's garden. And I would question them. I would say, well, where do you live on Salt Spring Island? And they would say, ask, and they would say to me, why does that even matter? And it does matter because if your friend lives out on Scott Point in Zone 9A and you're down in the Burgoyne Valley, where I shot that video yesterday in the Fulford Valley, in the low end of Zone 8B, there's a good chance that same plant that's growing in Zone 9A will get fried from an early frost or a late frost down in the Fulford Valley. And it is a frost hollow. It's funny because where they grow the olives up on the slope here, they have a weather station up there too. It's a lot milder than down here, and that's why he grows those olives on the slope. And down at the bottom of the slope, there is blueberries, and blueberries can handle much more cold than olives. But the olive farm, we have a commercial olive farm here. It's got over 3,100 olive trees, and they do press olive oil here. We do have an olive oil processing plant, and he's situated in the right spot of his property. I think he's got about 8 there, and they've been there. I think this might be their 8th year growing olives. They planted them as just little saplings, and they're nice size olive trees now, and they're producing. And I noticed he planted quite a few more. I think he planted about 800 more olive trees. So I mean, there could be close to 4,000 olive trees there now. But really doing well on the south slope of the Burgoyne Valley. And like Weather Follower says, cold air does sink. So when you're planting an exotic garden, make sure you plant it on the upside of the slope and not at the bottom side of the slope. And if you're by a big body of water, that helps even more. Let me put my glasses on here. I see somebody else is in there too. Sorry, folks, this is just so random. I said to Wendy, you know what? I really feel like doing a live stream because they are fun. Hi again. Have you ever grown an arbutus? What's the best way to propagate? Okay, arbutus. You see that behind me right there blooming? See that big tree right there? That is a native Arbutus mensaesii. And if you can see in the distance, there's 100-foot tall arbutus trees. There's 2 of them there, and then we have a lot of arbutus. There's actually more in the forest too. We, believe it or not, I hate to say this, we use them for firewood because they are very good wood, very hard wood like oak, and they grow fast. You can actually cut an arbutus down, a Pacific madrona, and they will come back. So, have you ever grown arbutus? What's the best way to propagate since you can't transplant or take cuttings? So, the best way to propagate arbutus, I've grown tons of them from seed. Right now they're in bloom, very fragrant blooms. They are one of the most trickiest trees to transplant from the wild. They absolutely hate root disturbance and they need exact requirements to grow. They are native here to the southern Gulf Islands and only certain parts of the Pacific coast. They like fast draining soil. They usually grow in pretty close proximity to the ocean, but I have seen them growing inland too, where they've been transplanted, probably pot grown from a nursery. If you take the berries in the fall, little berries, little red berries, they get thousands of berries on them. They self-seed here like weeds. Take some of those berries in the fall, get some 4-inch pots and put some potting soil in them. Make sure you got drainage holes in them. Throw some of those berries on top of the pot on the soil. And in each berry, there's seeds, tiny little seeds. Those berries will decompose over the winter. The seeds will fall into the soil and they will get the cold stratification they need. And in June, you will see seedlings emerging, little baby seedlings, arbutus seedlings. And what you do with those seedlings is let them grow big enough where they fill the pots with roots. And then when they're a little bit root bound, you can slide the pots off without disturbing the roots, and then you can plant them. They don't like extreme heat and they don't like extreme cold. I remember the winter of 1989 here, in early February 1989. The Pacific madrona trees were heavily damaged by the cold we got here, and some areas of Salt Spring got down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And there was some wind in some areas too, so they got desiccated, the leaves, and they got really dried out and fried from the cold. They all recovered. None of them died, but it was down to around 10 degrees Fahrenheit. They don't like extreme cold. So remember that when you're growing an arbutus tree, plant it in extremely fast draining soil. Ours are growing in rock. That one right there behind me. And then there's another one over that way too, a really big one. They got really twisty trunks on them and twisty branches. See the flowers on them? That's a beautiful tree. They're very messy trees. It is Canada's only native broadleaf evergreen beside the Pacific wax myrtle. Thanks. I will try them. About 30 minutes from Puget Sound. Yeah, there's lots of them in Puget Sound. When I go to Seattle, I see tons of arbutus. And you know, there's a small area in Oregon, on the southern Oregon coast in Bandon, I think it was Bandon, where I actually saw Pacific madronas growing. It's like, whoa, we're driving along southern Oregon coast. I've been down there a lot of times. Like, there is arbutus trees growing in a certain area on the Oregon coast, which tells me it is drier there. You will not see them growing on our far west coast. And as far north as I've seen arbutus trees growing here is Campbell River, and that's probably about 120 miles north of here. And I presume they were probably planted, I'm guessing. But Puget Sound, Seattle, lots of them. They're probably growing in Bellingham and anywhere in coastal locations in the Pacific Northwest on the inner south coast. There's lots of them in Victoria. But as you start going up the far west coast, it's so wet there, you won't see them. Like Tofino, I think, gets about 12 feet of rain a year. And here we get about 30 inches of rain a year, 30 to 35 inches of rain a year on this island. And it does vary on Salt Spring Island. The outer Gulf Islands here are much drier. Saturna Island is recorded as little as 18 inches annually. So we are in a rain shadow here. So that's why we grow arbutus trees to perfection. They grow like weeds, and I've just scattered seed around over the last few decades, and we have a lot of big ones even growing down in the front garden, growing on the side of the driveway. And like I say, they are very messy trees. They are evergreen. They're in a BLE. They're a broadleaf evergreen, but they're constantly dropping leaves in the dry weather. But new leaves are coming out, but they're constantly dropping leaves. And then at a certain time of the year, their bark sheds like a eucalyptus, even though they're not related, and you get tons of messy bark everywhere. So you probably don't want to grow it too close to your house or a patio, because they will drop a lot of leaves and bark. Deer do eat them. And I was saying, when you cut an arbutus tree down, they will regrow. So if you pollard them to a 10, 12 foot trunk, they're going to resprout everywhere. Hi Eric, how you doing? Eric Thompson, good to see you in there, bud. If you cut a arbutus down and coppice it down to a short stump, they will resprout. And I have a big one out on the boulevard, and Hydro, the power line guys, cut it about 5 years ago, and I was pretty upset about that. So they cut it right down, they coppiced it, and right now it's probably about 12 feet tall. It came back multiple trunks, kind of like a eucalyptus. If you coppice a eucalyptus tree, they will come back nicely, and you can get the foliage for cut flowers. It will retain the juvenile foliage, and arbutus don't. Arbutus kind of look very, very tropical. They're very, very unique tree to Canada, and I think they're one of the most beautiful native trees in Canada because they are a BLE. And also look up Pacific wax myrtle. Pacific wax myrtle is another tree that grows here on the Pacific coast, especially along the west coast. And there's some here on Salt Spring Island that have been planted. They're not native here to Salt Spring. They've been planted, and people use them for hedges and stuff. So Pacific wax myrtle and arbutus are beautiful BLEs. So hopefully everybody's having good weather out there. Like I said, the temperature here currently is 73.4. Current time here is 5:18 p.m. Pacific time, and humidity is 40% humidity. Now, I watch the weather closely because I am a weather maniac. And first thing this morning at 5 a.m., I got up and I asked my Google Tower, what is the temperature in Toronto? And it was 2 degrees, but it felt like -3 or -4, I guess, with the wind chill and the humidity. And I think they got snow today. Certain places got some snow today back east in Montreal. I tell you what, folks, if it ever snows here in May, I will be putting for sale sign in front of this place and moving. Weather follower, the Trachycarpus you seed harvest last December or November. How are they getting on? Have you sown them yet? So yes, I have. I sowed them in March, and I better check. I watered the greenhouse yesterday, but I didn't check the seed flats. I got aquadomes on them. They should be popping pretty quick. Eric Thompson, Joe, we had snow today. No, Eric, snow is a 4-letter word. Where are you, Eric? Are you in Toronto? I know Montreal might have got some, and I think Toronto. Somebody posted a picture on one of the Facebook groups there, on one of the garden groups, and they had snow in Toronto or somewhere around Toronto there. So, and it said snow on my weather app on my cell. I don't own a cell phone. I just have a cell phone at work because we need them for work. So it stays in my Parks truck. But I got a weather app on there, and it said snow squalls at 2:20 p.m. for Toronto. I was like, that's not good. Gravel trucking, sitting in the sun, trying to get a sunburn. Well, guess what? Gravel trucking. I drove past the lake today, and there's quite a few people swimming there, and there was people swimming there yesterday too. We have 11 lakes on Salt Spring, and I live about 4.5 k's north of the biggest lake, and there was quite a few people swimming there today. Too cold for me though. We're about a half hour east of Toronto, Eric. Okay, cool. I don't think you got a lot of snow though. I think it was probably just a little bit. Yeah, it can snow there in Zone 6 in May. It has happened before. And if you go to climate normals of Canada, you can actually see what the all-time low temperatures are at most of them are recorded at the airport. And airport always records a little bit colder temperatures, but there's been some pretty cool temperatures recorded there. Enough to take the shorts off. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to stand up here if you can see me. I do have shorts on. You see? No lie, we got shorts on. And the shorts will stay on now till late fall. I used to wear shorts year-round. I was one of those guys that wore shorts year-round. And as I get older, I dislike cold even more, and I get a few more aches and pains in the cool, damp winter months. So I don't wear shorts in the winter anymore. So I usually take them off about late October. What are you laughing at, Miss T? Are you coming over here to talk? Come over here and show your kisser. My wife's My wife's laughing at me. I'm just modeling some clothes for you. She says I actually wear nothing most of the time. And I can do that here because we don't have any neighbors. If I'm not wearing shorts, I will blind people. Gravel trucking. Mike, I think your name is, right? I think it's Mike. How you doing up there? So you're in Powell River, right? How's the weather up in Powell River? Is it a balmy 70 degrees like it is down here? Eric Thompson, COVID. Well, there's no reported cases of COVID on our island. I'm sure there probably was some, like I've told you before, but this is a very safe place to be. It really is. Salt Spring Island, and I'm sure where Mike is up on the Sunshine Coast is a very safe place to be too. Yes, I'm in Pender Harbor. Yeah, Wendy's mom lives in Secret. She lives near Secret Cove. She lives in Half Moon Bay. Wendy's mom lives in Half Moon Bay, so you know where that is. And I spent a lot of time up in that area when I was a kid growing up because my parents had a cabin in 14 acres at Roberts Creek. They bought it in 1957 and they sold it in 77 and we bought here in 78. So my sister teaches there. Yeah, her sister teaches up in Gibsons. She lives, oh, no, not at Gibsons anymore.
Oh, maybe she is.
Yeah, yeah, Seashell. So Wendy's mom and her sister live up on the Sunshine Coast. Beautiful up there. How's it going, Joe? Alec, it's going good, man. Nice to see you guys in there. Yes, I know where Wendy's mom is. Yeah, she's actually, Mike, she's looking at Thornaby Island and Texada. I've never been to Thornaby. One of the guys I work with, his brother has a place on Thornaby. Looks really nice over there. And Texada is a pretty cool island too, a big island. Yeah, you got to love island life and, of course, the Sunshine Coast life. And for you people that don't know about the Sunshine Coast, it's quite a ways north of here and north of Vancouver, and it's a very mild microclimate up there, and there's some amazing palm trees on the Sunshine Coast. If you drive through Gibsons, or not Gibsons, there's lots in Gibsons, Seashell, there's a street lined with palm trees in Seashell, and at Davis Bay, there's lots of big palm trees. Weather follow us in the UK. We're going through a mini heat wave. We're about to go through a large temperature drop from 25 to 9. Ooh, you're going to freeze your hiney off. Texada is a hippie land. Is hippie land. That's what gravel trucking says. Well, you know what, Mike? South end of our island is hippie land too. So where we live on the very north end of Salt Spring Island is not hippie land. Do I look like a hippie? Do I look like I have dreadlocks? On the south end of island, where the phone number starts 653, we're a 537. That's the Mason-Dixon line. So south of that, that's 653er. You're usually wearing rubber boots and you have dreadlocks. Do you have sycamensis, Joe? Eric, I've tried sycamensis before. I should probably try it again. They do grow here. I can tell you that. Mine petered out. It just was too dry and just I had it in a poor spot. My friend grew them in town in Ganges at Grace Point for several years, and they got very big, probably 15 feet tall, and they went through the winter just fine. I mean, the leaves would fry off in the frost. And the strata that he lived in, the townhouses, the people didn't like looking at bananas in the winter. So no bananas. I just stepped on an ant. Sorry, folks. Big carpenter ant. So the strata garden people made them take the musabajus out, or the sycamensis out. That was over 20 years ago. Hornby is the worst, I heard. Yeah, Hornby is hippy dippyville, and so is Denman. I think so is Lasqueti as well. Hey, Joe, the palm guy. Sweet Montreal. Hey, palm guy, you getting some snow out there? What is going on? El Boro, yeah, in Belgium, same story. Sweet, gotta love Belgium. I have a lot of friends in Belgium. You know, there's parts of Zone 9A in Belgium, up in the north there, up in the north end. I think it's Zone 9A. Eric Thompson, I've got some germinating right now if I have luck. Sweet. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, no, I definitely try some more. My buddy Austin in Arkansas sent me some of those Musa Velutina, the pink ones, and they didn't like it here. And it's too bad because I had my bananas in the wrong spot near a big Thuya plicata tree, massive cedar tree, and the roots from the cedar tree infiltrated the garden and sucked the life out of those poor little bananas, and they never amounted to anything. Let's just see. Have you ever tried to grow red cordyline? Yes, we have one in our garden, the pink one. Yep, we have that one too. We have Torbay Dazzler as well. We have a lot of cordylines in our garden. They're hardy here, cordylines. There's some big cordylines on Salt Spring Island. Let's see. What else do we have here? Palm Guy, Montreal, question. Went to a nursery about 30 from our place, collected some Fortunices. Wonder if those seeds would be hardier. Well, not really. If the palms were brought inside during the winter, they're not going to be hardier. What's going to make a palm tree seed hardy is where the palm tree is growing. So if you went to the top of one of our mountains here and you found a palm tree growing at a higher elevation, that's going to give you a hardier palm seed. Or if that palm tree was outside in Montreal producing seed, that's going to give you much hardier seed, because I suspect that Trachycarpus palm has been brought in for winter months into a greenhouse or something. I know nothing. I'm growing. Eric Thompson. I know nothing. I'm growing. I live in zone 5. You're a zone pusher. That's what you are. The guy wraps it with lights and tarps. Okay. So it's what he's doing is giving it a few growing zones worth of protection. So I'm going to give you the dirt on Trachycarpus fortunei. I've been growing them for 35 years, okay, and I've been growing exotic plants a lot longer. Trachycarpus fortunei, this far north, is a long-term Zone 8B palm. However, there are some nice specimens in Zone 8A. I have seen them damaged in Zone 8A, and I've seen them killed in Zone 8A. So the ones that I know growing in Zone 8A here were grown from palms grown from seed from Lugano, Switzerland. Okay, the original stock came from Lugano, Switzerland, planted in 1966 in Vancouver. The seed was taken from those palms in the planted in the 1960s, and the offspring growing in Zone 8A is from those palms. So that's what makes them hardier, and they're about 25 feet tall now. The palm guy, but it's been outside. It's been outside, but it also has had lights on it and help. That's the thing. So if it's been outside with no help, no lights, and no protection, it's going to be much hardier seed. So if you were to take those lights off it and the wrap, would it survive the winter? That's the question I have to ask you. So that's like me planting a Washingtonia robusta here. It's not long term. We have some in the garden, but they do get buggered up in the winter and they can get killed in a cold blast. GD Gardens, am I late? You're not too late. Sorry, I'm doing another one of these live streams because it's fun. That's what I said to Wendy. It's fun, and she says, "Joe, because she says because you like to talk." What did she? She's giving me a super smoking hot pepperoni. I'm not going to eat that. That's gonna fry my face off. Those are damn hot. I was looking at those things in the store today. They're too hot to eat. No hot pepperoni. You eat that. No, I made a mistake because I didn't read it, and then I got it after I bought them. Took the first bite. It fried my face off. The Palm Garden. Yeah, we got snow, but barely anything. Nothing for us Canadians over here. Yeah. Yeah, snow doesn't hurt palm trees. It's bitter cold. It's prolonged cold. Okay. So the only place you can actually grow palm trees is the Pacific coast of Canada, unprotected. Trachycarpus fortunei is an arborescent palm, which means a trunk forming palm like a tree. And the only place you will grow them long term is along the Pacific coast of Canada. Once you get inland, farther away from the ocean, you're not going to get regulated temperatures by the ocean, the big body of water, and they are going to need some protection. Aries guys like to talk. We do. Yes, March 29th. I am an Aries guy. I could babble all day long. And I've been talking at work too. You know, whenever I stop for a break, people come up and talk to me. I get a lot of plant questions asked to me, and it's good. It keeps the brain going, right? GD Gardens. I ordered a Cocothrinax subspecies. Yeah, well, they're cool palms. I wish I could grow that. They're very tropical. I like Cocothrinax. I like Trithrinax. Trithrinax is a hardier one. Thrinax isn't, but Trithrinax, Canthocoma, and Campestris, I believe it is. Those are hardy and they will work here. Aquarius here, right on. Wendy is a, what are you, Wendy? You're Sagittarius, right? Wendy Sagittarius. Elboro, laugh out loud. We got snow. I'm reading all your little comments in here. Gravel trucking. Cedars are sour. They will kill anything. You know it. Mike? Yeah, Wendy says, yay, gravel trucking. We know who you are. He's been a long-time follower on my YouTube channel, and I think he follows Wendy's YouTube channel. So Mike is right. Native Western red cedar is Thuya plicata. And if you have a garden even 20 feet away from that, what those roots do, they'll just flow through the soil and they'll find the good soil. And I planted a bunch of bananas by one. And after the third year, that soil was just knitted and knotted with roots. They parched the soil. They sucked the life out of everything. The bananas started getting smaller and smaller. So I dug them out and I planted them far away from it. And now they're back to 17 feet tall again. So Mike, you know your stuff. Cedars are great for kindling, but not for burning. You're not going to heat your house with cedar. You're going to use it for starting the fire. It's full of oils. Same with redwood. The palm guy, our pygmy date palms from seed long to germinate, and chinensis. My chinensis seems to be rotting. And well-draining soil. You know what you should be using to start your seeds is Sunshine Mix 4 and Pro Mix HP. High porosity is the HP and the Pro Mix. Lots of perlite in it. And really good for starting seeds. And once they've germinated and once they've send up a shoot like a leaf, I take them out of the seed flats and I mix some of that Pro Mix HP or Sunshine Mix 4. You can see my videos with some potting soil, and then I put them in the liner size pot. So you got some really good drainage in there. It does hold the moisture, and make sure you have a pot with drainage holes. Livistona, I found they took a little bit longer to germinate than Trachycarpus seeds, and I've germinated Phoenix robelinii, and they weren't bad either in the baggy method. Just be patient with all palm seeds except with Washingtonia seeds because they're fast to germinate. Gravel trucking. Jonathan got me some. Oh yeah. You know what, Mike? Jonathan actually comments on some of my Facebook pics because he's actually on one of my Facebook friends, so he does comment on my Facebook stuff. He actually commented on something the other day, one of my pictures. So Jonathan is alive and well and doing fine for sure. And I haven't seen him for a long time. I says if he's over here, stop by and say hi. Palm guy, that's exactly what I use in the baggie. Good for you, because that is good stuff to use. You know what? You can buy it at Home Depot. Get a bale of Sunshine Mix 4, big bale, 3.8 cubic foot bale. And what did I pay? I think it was 25 bucks or something. Here on Salt Spring, well over 30 bucks. Everything's more expensive here. And you know what? Gas just went up here another 10 cents a liter. We probably got the highest gas prices in the country, 106.9 a liter. And there's over 4 liters per gallon, so you can figure that out. Food Forest, hello from Victoria. Hey, Food Forest, right on. Who remembers Joe's first channel? Alec, BJ616. Yep, that was my first YouTube channel. I think I started it in 2008. I started this one in early July 2010. And then about 8 years ago, I started Jungle Joe C. So, you know, for those who don't know, I have 3 YouTube channels. Jungle Joe C, I still upload on. And that one's got a little bit more risque stuff on it. So some of them's kind of age restricted. You can check it out. Jungle Joe C has palm stuff on it too. A lot of palm and exotic plant videos and a lot of Hawaii stuff. Weather follower. I wish more palm trees were available at garden centers. Every garden center I go to, there are all 3 types. Cordyline australis, Camarops, and the old faithful Trachycarpus. You know, I'll tell you something. Home Depot over in Duncan on the Big Island, a couple of years ago, and they bring in Butias and the Camarops and Trachys, but a couple of years ago, they brought in a ton of Rhipidophyllum hystrix needle palms. So I scooped 6 of them. I already had one in the garden I planted about 19 years ago, but I scooped 6 more needle palms because they're beautiful, beautiful palms. I love needle palms. They're one of my favorites. Martin, live again. Right on. I had to. So I said to Wendy, we're up watering the garden. I said, you know what? I'm going to do a live stream just for the heck of it because they are fun. I use straight cocoa. Eric Thompson, I use straight cocoa and perlite. Great results, but it's because it's idiot proof. Well, you know what? Being idiot proof / foolproof is a good thing. And that's what I say about Trachycarpus fortunei palms in this climate. They are a foolproof palm. You can stick a seedling in the ground and it will grow into a mature palm. You never have to do anything with it. You see these palm trees behind me? Those I grew from seed and I planted in the ground as seedlings back in the 1990s, right? So they're growing in very poor soil. And there's a lot of them in that cluster. I like to cluster things together to make more tropical. Trip. Oh, here we go. Somebody from Thailand. I think it's Thailand. Are you in Thailand? That looks like Thai writing. That is pretty cool. That'd make a cool tattoo. Palm guy. I got to try that cocoa, but hard to find here. I don't know where you get cocoa fiber here. Maybe at Buckerfields. I don't think Home Depot has it. You know what they use cocoa fiber for a lot to actually line hanging baskets with. It makes a really good liner, kind of like a moss basket. So Trip Lucha, where are you from? Are you from Thailand? I can't translate here. Food Forest, I have some palmettos growing. Sweet. If you go to my this channel here, and you go to a search engine and search Sable Palmetto near Vancouver, in Vancouver, and you can see my friend, end stream. Our connection is unstable. We are reconnecting. You lost me here for a sec. What is going on? Please wait while we connect. Can you see me okay? Okay, I'm reconnected. I got disconnected. Go to my channel and look up Sable Palmetto, and you'll see the one growing in Vancouver. There's actually a big one growing in front of the Empress Hotel in Victoria. It's got about 10 feet of trunk on it. Hardy palm, but slow this far north. What is the most tropical plant you would recommend for Zone 8A besides Trachycarpus fortunei and Musabaju? Taro, colocasia, the big elephant ears. Also, Gunnera manicata. It looks pretty tropical, but I know it grows in cool places in South America. You could try Gunnera manicata. It's a nice big hardy herbaceous perennial. Looks like rhubarb on steroids. You could try that. Castor bean, Ricinus. It's an annual, but it'll grow fast. It'll grow big leaves on it. Try that one. Weather follower, yes. Joe, Eric Thompson. Joe, I've got to fly. Keep doing these. I enjoy them. All right. See you later, bro. Take care. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I'm just going to do random live streams, but I am still going to do them on the first Friday of every month. I think I'll do that. But the weather's so nice. I just like being outside. I work outside. Most of I work for the Parks Department. I'm a gardener maintenance worker for the Parks Department. So my job is outside year round. And today was outside watering a lot of roll-on turf. We put on a lot of turf in one of the parks. We laid a bunch of sod about 3 weeks ago to a month ago, so we had to water a bunch of that today. So I spent a few hours watering, setting up sprinklers, and then I had to mow a bunch of sports fields. It was a great day. Palm Guy, I enjoy. Tune in next time, and thanks for the info. Got to post some pics in the group. Yes, sweet. Do that, Palm Guy. Thanks for tuning in. GD Gardens, I think Missouri palms are genus Nanorops. Yeah, Nanorops ricciana. I first tried one of those in the late 1980s at my last location on the mainland. And Nanorops are very hardy in a cool, dry climate, winter climate. Here, they don't like the winter wetness, so you better plant that under an overhang or a house or give it some overhead protection in the winter. But I would say they're probably about as hardy as Camarops here. And Camarops is fully hardy here, but it takes more winter wetness than Nanorops ricciana. But I have never tried Nanorops ricciana here on Salt Spring. I imported one from California back at my last location, and it got killed in Zone 8A first winter. So did my Serrano repens. El Boracho 97. Yeah, I planted some seeds from Ricinus in Honolulu, the red one. Right, they're awesome. Grew some at my mother-in-law's place back in the day about 30 years ago. They grew as tall as her over the first story of the building, and they had massive leaves on them. She had them growing in really, really good soil. What else do we have here? The Palm Guy losing you. Well, I'm come back again. I did lose a connection for a little bit. Hello from Germany. Good to see you from Germany there. Yes. Hey, Germany. Do you know a lot of? Do you know on the south of Germany at Lake Constance, there is there's a island out there. And they grow a lot of exotic plants down there. I think it's probably about a zone 8A, 8B, maybe 8B. And I actually have palms in my garden from seed collected from that area in Lake Constance. Yeah, let's just see what else do we have here. I'm just reading some of your stuff. Nice to see you guys in there. I thank you guys for tuning in. And sorry, it's just so random. I maybe should have put a scheduled announcement on the YouTube channel, but sometimes I like to do random things, just like I like to post random videos. If you saw my video the other day of the dog chasing my mower when I was down at the Fulford Ballpark, a random dog shows up and just started chasing me. So as I'm driving the mower and mowing the sports fields, I'm filming the dog behind me. And after about 3 or 4 times around, the dog was looking pretty tired. It was a border collie. And I called it over to my Parks truck and I gave it a Milk-Bone dog biscuit. Weather follower. Got to post some videos on my channel. Got to update the people on the tropics. See you next live stream. Yep. Stay safe. Take care there, weather follower. Alec, good to see you in there, buddy. Yeah. I know the internet connection, it's supposed to be boosted up a little bit. They did tweak it a bit, but sometimes it's going to have its flaws. And so random. I am a very random guy, and sometimes I say random things. And my YouTube channel is mostly pertaining to palms and exotic plants, but I do like to throw the odd random video in there to break up the monotony, and then I go right back into the exotica, right? Because I like palm trees, and I think I do have palm oil running through my veins, as most of you do. You are palm nuts, as we used to say in the Palm Society, palmophiles. You are all palmophiles. And I don't know if any of you guys are in the Palm Society. I've been in the Palm Society for a long time, since the 1980s. And it is a good group of people, just a bunch of palm nuts, especially when we get around a table and start talking. My wife has to leave the room. Hi from Canada, Michael Morris. Right on. And yeah, it's a beautiful day in this part of Canada here in the Southern Gulf Islands. Last time I looked, it was in the lower 70s Fahrenheit, and low humidity at 40% humidity on our weather station. We have sensors set up around the garden and the property. GD Gardens, hey, I need some advice uh, whenever I get a palm seed radical root and place it in the soil without any fronds, it dies. Well, you know what you got to do, GD Gardens, you better wait till it starts putting out a shoot. Okay, so you got your big root. I never take them out until there's actually a leaf blade on it, and then they're fine. I lost a lot of Bismarckias that way. I pulled them out when they just had roots on them, and it was my bad. It got too cold. I had them in the greenhouse, and they didn't do good. I do actually have some busies in parks in pots that I harvested in Honolulu, and they're doing very well. They're in 2-gallon pots. Martin, have you any Martin, have you any Musa sycamensis red tiger? No, I don't have any Musa sycamensis. If you watch the latest video I just uploaded, I did shoot a video of my friend's Ensete ventricosum, a red one, just down the road from me at Hal's Saloon. No, that sounds like a nice one, red tiger. I don't think I've heard of that one. I've grown Musa sycamensis before, but not red tiger. And they are a pretty hardy banana in these parts of the country. Food Forest, been a pleasure. We'll see you again. All the best. Take care there, buddy. Howie, that's your name. Right on. Food Forest Permaculture. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night and enjoy the weekend. It looks like it's going to be a toasty weekend this far north. Mabru 912. Cool. Have you checked out the city Rheindorf, a company planting hundreds of palms and yuccas there in 2000 and left them unprotected? Wow. Where is that? Whereabouts is that? Mabru 912. City Rheindorf. That almost sounds like Germany. Winter melon. What's the most hardy coconut style palm? Well, I would have to say a mule palm. I would have to say, well, we have a Butia, Syagris cross Butia in the ground, but it hasn't been long enough to know how it's going to really do for the long term. It's been in through a couple of winters now, and I had it sent to me as Jubea or Butia Syagris Jubea. It definitely doesn't have any Jubea in it. It looks like more like a Syagris, and it's looking really good in our garden. And we have Syroxylon, and we also have a Parajubea that did very well in the winter. So Parajubea is a pinnate species that looks like a coconut. They call it a mountain coconut from the Andes Mountains. Martin, it is winter hardy as Musabaju, and they have a bit of red and purple on the leaves. That sounds like a really nice banana. I'd like to try one of those. And I presume it will be available from seed on eBay or Amazon. Germany. Wow. Whereabouts in Germany? Is that southern Germany? Would that be by Mabru 912? Would that be by Lake Constance in Mainau? Because I know there's a lot of palm trees. I mean, they do grow Trachycarpus in Germany, in southern Germany. And they grow them in southern Norway, and they also grow them in Sweden as well. Southern Norway, there's actually quite a few Trachycarpus palms. Parts of southern Norway are Zone 8B. Let's just see. Have you ever ordered off North Texas? No. GD Gardens. No. I've ordered from rarepalmtrees.com a couple of times. Lots of seeds from Carter Seeds in California back in the 1990s, and actually in the 80s as well, late 1980s. And I got a lot of good seed from those guys. I'll have to try that. Cool. I'm gonna have to Google that place. That sounds like a pretty cool place. They're growing all these palm trees. I've seen lots of nice Trachycarpus palms growing in Germany over the years. And, I had a friend travel to Germany one time. And like I say, it was my now Lake Constance, and he brought me some seeds back from Germany. And I do have German palms growing in our garden here. We have palms growing from the Netherlands. We have palms growing from Switzerland, and palm trees growing from all over. I get seed sent from all over to us, and we grow them in our garden. And it's fun to do that. It's just a hobby, right? So anything growing in our garden is a display garden. We don't dig them out and grow them. I've had people come through our garden and say, hey, can you dig that out? Would you sell that to me? Nuh-uh. If it's in the garden, we don't dig it out. That's for show. All show and no go. Anything in the greenhouse or the propagation house, some stuff is for sale in there, but anything in the nursery is for sale. Yeah. In Leverkusen in Germany. Wow, cool. I'll have to Google that. Nice. So they're Trachycarpus palms, and they're doing good, and they're not protected. And you know what? I've actually seen Jubea growing in Germany too. There were some big ones growing in southern Germany. I don't know if they're still there. There's also some very old ones growing in Normandy in France that actually have marks in them from World War II, like where they've been bombarded and they're still there. They're massive Jubea chilensis palms, and it can get cold in Normandy every so often. GD Gardens, they are on eBay. They have more plants for sale. Sweet. I'll have to check that out. Okay, El Boro Acho 97, gonna leave you guys. It's nighttime over here. Take care. See you the next stream. We'll see you later. It is 5:47 p.m. Pacific time here on the Gulf Islands, and it is a sunny, warm afternoon. It's going to be dinner time for me soon. No, southern Germany is actually very cold. It's in western Germany. The area is by very mild. Wow, cool. I'll have to check that out. See, I learn something new every day. I will Google that and maybe I can find some pictures. Hey, maybe there's some YouTube videos of some palm trees growing there in Germany in that area. I could share them on my People Who Love Palm Trees page. Yeah, but for don't share any pictures though. You can get in trouble for that. Somebody gave me crap for sharing a picture of a Jubea chilensis. I shared, and people take stuff off the internet all the time and share pictures. And I didn't claim I took the photos, and I didn't even claim I've been to Switzerland. I've never been to Europe. So they were just beautiful palm pictures of Jubea chilensis. So I shared these 2 photos of the Jubea chilensis on People Who Love Palm Trees. And some guy says, the administrator, Joe, is sharing pictures again. And I told him not. He's never told me ever in a private message not to share his pictures. So the guy gave me crap for sharing his pictures. So anyway, after about 50 comments on 2 stupid pictures, and some guy called me a name for sharing the pictures, and it's just ridiculous. So anyway, I took that post down. It's supposed to be sight, not getting mad for sharing pictures. Share my pictures all the time. I don't give a rat's, you know what. They're just palm pictures. Who care? There's more things, important things to worry about on this planet than sharing palm pictures. So he got very upset with me for sharing his palm picture, some dude in Germany or Switzerland. Anyway, I won't be sharing his pictures anymore, but it's free game and fair game if you take pictures off the internet and share them. If they have somebody's name across them, you can't share them, but I don't claim I took those pictures. They were pictures taken by somebody else. I just posted them because I thought they were nice pictures. Take care. Stay safe. All right. Take care there, buddy. El Bor Acho 97. Right on. Southern Germany is actually very cold. Well, you know what? That's really interesting. But in Mainau, they do grow a lot of palms down in Lake Constance. I thought maybe the lake regulated the air temperatures in Mainau. I had a calendar one time given to me from Mainau, and it was nice because the palm trees were on the calendar, and anything palmy I like. It's fair. Use it if you don't. I didn't make any money on it, Martin. You know what I mean? I just posted it because I thought it was nice pictures, and the guy got his panties in a bunch because it was his photo, and I thought it was tacky. I don't know if you're on my palm site, Banana Joe, the administrator, and I told him in an email. He didn't tell me anything. If he did, I wouldn't have posted him if it bothered him that much. I don't ever recall him giving me a private message telling me not to share his pictures. You know what I mean? So anyway, I won't share the guy's photos anymore. I'll share pictures of our Jubea growing here on Salt Spring Island. And I have a Jubea here as well. I have a Jubea in our garden that I grew from seed that actually came from Switzerland, and it's doing very well, and it seems to be growing at a pretty good rate here. And they are fully hardy in our climate. They have a proven track record here now on our Pacific coast to Canada, at least the Gulf Islands and the islands. I have seen them freeze in areas of Vancouver in a bad winter in the December 2008 freeze. My buddy lost his big Jubea. It was a crated one. He had it in the ground for several years, and it lost its center spear, and it was toast. So very sad because they are pretty slow growers. Martin, you have to have a link to the website. Would love to check it out. Yeah, well, and then the thing is, you can Google images of Jubea, and tons of them come up, and those pictures came up. So you just copy the picture, save it in your files, and I posted. I have lots of pictures saved of palm trees in my file. Who cares? They're just palm trees. If people get all bent out of shape because of that, you know what? That's crazy. I don't. If I'm happy if somebody shares one of my pictures. It's kind of it's nice. I don't mind it at all. It's palm people like to see palm pictures. Anyway, I didn't write my name on it. I didn't say I took the picture, so he's just somebody that gets upset easy, I guess. GD Gardens, hey, I saw 2 palmettos in Georgia, Southern Zone 8A. Well, that's the ones natural. That's where you want to get seeds from, GD Gardens. You want to get them from there. You want to get them from naturalized palms in Georgia in Zone 8A. It's 3 a.m. here in Germany right now. I'm so happy that I checked out YouTube. I watched all your other sweet. Thanks, Mabru912. Am I saying that right? Mabru912 in Germany. Sweet. Well, I'm glad you like the videos. You know what I mean? And like I say, none of my stuff is edited. It's just, and I like to throw in a random one, but it's all going to be to do with at least gardens, palm trees, and exotica because I like that stuff, and I know you guys too do. You like it too. There's a lot of videos out there people have on palms and exotic plants. So if you ever get sick of my channel, you know you can move on to their channel, and that's fine. It's not going to bother me because I watch other people's videos too, and there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. It's amazing what you can learn on YouTube, right? 8:51 here. Alec, okay, so you guys are 3 hours ahead of us. I'll send you. Yeah, GD Gardens. Yeah, put it on the palm group. I'd like to see that. And try to get some seeds from those if you can, and those will grow you some nice hardy palm trees. And it's like taking seeds from palm coasts that were being planted in the 1940s. I can think of one right now and growing in Tofino. It was planted in 1948, and it has 30 feet of trunk on it. And it's too bad there wasn't another palm tree around it to pollinate. There's lots of cordyline, huge cordyline, but it's a single palm with over 30 feet of trunk, and it was planted in 1948. It looks pretty awesome. Southeast Virginia, sweet. The East Coast, awesome. That place gets toasty. Southeast Virginia gets a nice hot summers, and that's where you get that good, yummy pawpaw fruit. And I think pawpaw trees actually grow native in Southeast Virginia. I have one. I put it in the greenhouse to leaf it out. It's funny. Every tree here has leaves on it except the pawpaw tree. They're just starting to come. They like a lot of heat, so I stuck it in the greenhouse, and now it's got leaves coming out on it. Eventually, I guess I will plant it in the garden. They're fully hardy here, but they like heat, kind of like albizia. Albizia get really big here, but they're later to leaf out and fully hardy everywhere. Yeah, you got to love that. I hear actually they have fruit stands in Virginia that sell pawpaw. It's like here we have fig stands on our island. So certain time of the year in the summertime, you'll be driving along. There's lots of roadside stands here. All over Salt Spring Island, there's farm stands from one end to the other. And you stop at the farm stand, you leave your money, and at a certain time in the summer, figs. Everybody's selling fresh figs, and they're so good. And we have people on the park on the side of the road and sell fresh figs. There's actually a fig farm not too far from me here. It's got about 180 fig trees. Martin got 4 new pineapple lilies. Eucomus, I think is the Latin name for that. Those are a great plant. Unfortunately, something dug ours up and ate them. And I think it's the darn raccoon. We have a raccoon that's been visiting in our garden and digging up everything, eating all the Wendy's bulbs, turning over the rocks in the rockery. Real pain in the butt, those raccoons. So watch the critters on them. We have squirrels too. Squirrels can make a mess all throughout the forest around. That is awesome, Alec. Southern magnolia and southern live oak native as well. Actually, I got southern live oak acorns from Virginia, and we have them growing in our garden here. They're still small. The biggest oak here we have is a tanbark oak on our property, and I planted it in the 19s, so that's native to Southern Oregon coast and California. But there are a lot of eastern live oaks that grow here in people's gardens, big ones. They were planted, of course. We have the only native oaks we have on our island are Quercus garryana, and that's an Oregon white oak or a Gary oak, and they're protected, and they grow in groves, and they're very slow growing, and they grow in the rock, difficult to transplant. GD Gardens. I have to go. My family show is right on. The family show is about to come on. It's funny. We watch Friends every night. We watch reruns. That's Wendy's favorite show. So that's on Netflix. So anyway, take care, GD Gardens. Nice to have you in there, buddy. And yeah, I look forward to your photos of the sable palmetto in the palm group on Facebook. Martin, glad we don't have raccoons in the Netherlands. Yeah, well, I can send you some if you want. I can also send you some deer. We have lots of deer on our island. So the population of Salt Spring is just over 10,000. And they figure we have about close to 8,000 deer on this island. And that's no lie. I see deer every single day of the year. And if you don't have your garden fence, the deer will come in and they will eat you out of house and home. And sometimes they will eat palm trees too. They will actually eat the palm fronds. I've seen them actually destroy palm trees in people's gardens where they've rutted on them with their antlers. But that's what we say kill grill. No offense to you vegetarians out there. And you can make deer sausage and you can have some nice venison in your freezer. My friend is obsessed with Friends. She, Alec. You know what? I never really watched it much in the 90s. I watched the odd one, but watching it now, I love it. It is actually a really funny show, and it ran for Wendy's got it going, and I sit there and I watch Friends with her. It is a very funny show. The reruns are great. I also like Married with Children. I used to watch that all the time back in the mid 80s when it ran till the 90s. It ran for 10 years too. That's one of my favorites. Gotta love Al Bundy, eh? Yeah, watches it every. That's what we do too. At nighttime, we watch Friends. We'll usually watch about 4, maybe 5 episodes of Friends on Netflix with the commercials. Maybrew 912. This winter, we did not see snow here in Northwest Germany. Lucky you. We did see snow here on Salt Spring Island. It was gone within a few days, and the coldest temperature here was minus 5.1 degrees Celsius. So 22.1. I think that's what it was. You can Google that online conversion. I think it was minus 5.1. I got it written down on my book. I'm a weather observer, so every day I mark down the temperatures and what it did. So, and I got books and books full of it from years gone by. Same, no snow here in VA. Sweet. I don't like snow. I can't stand the stuff. I just cringe when I see a snowflake coming down. When I was a kid, I loved it, but now I absolutely hate snow. As I get older, I dislike cold even more. I used to be an avid skier, used to be at Whistler all the time, all the local mountains in Vancouver, Mount Washington and Vancouver Island, Manning Park, Mount Baker and Bellingham. I could care less if I ever go to a mountain and ski again. I got all my skis tucked away in the basement. I'd rather look at palm trees. Yeah, Alec, I'm with you. I hate it too. It's funny. It's like I said, one time we were on Maui and we decided to go up to the top of Haleakala, the mountain there. It's 10,300 feet or something. Freeze your hiney off cold up there. And I had my shorts and flip flops on. I think, why am I on top of this mountain on Maui, freezing to death when I should be sitting on a beach? And I fly here to freeze my hiney off? No. And people say to me, you should go up and see Haleakala. I says, I've been there, done that. Don't waste your time. It's cold and windy, and it's just a bunch of lava rocks. And there's no palm trees up there. You know what I should have done? I should have brought some Trachycarpus seeds and spread them around. Trachycarpus would probably grow on top of Haleakala because it does snow there every so often. Whistler Park has an amazing mountain bike park. Yeah, Whistler Park don't have anything like that here. Whistler Park is pretty amazing. Well, you know what? The last time I skied at Whistler was 1985 or 86. I have not been to Whistler since. Wendy's been there quite a few times. She actually stayed there last October, mom and her sister. And it's a totally different place when I used to go there. It was like a little hick town, little corner store, little ambulance, the village. There really was no Whistler village. And I skied at Blackcomb Mountain. I used to ski it. I've actually never skied on Whistler Mountain. It was Blackcomb Mountain I used to ski on, which is right beside. But now they got a peak-to-peak gondola you can ride between the peaks. Are you into motorcycle? Yes, I have a Harley. I've been into motorcycles my entire life. I started riding a motorcycle, a mini bike, when I was 3 years old. And my dad used to have a motorcycle shop in Vancouver back in the early to mid 60s. And he sold go-karts and motorcycles. My dad was always into motorcycles too. So I was with motorcycles around the mayor. I do ride. I used to ride year round, but like I said, I don't like the cold weather. So I only license my bike for the summer months, and I'm going to license it in June, July, August, and it'll run out the insurance probably mid-September. And that's good enough for me because I'm so busy doing other things. Mabu 912, I hate it too. The snow here usually stays 1 to 3 days and sucks. Yeah, so sounds like your climate is like ours. And I mean, often we'll have winters without any snow here. And those are the winters I like best. There's been winters here where our bananas stayed green right through the winter and were green in the spring. We didn't have a heavy enough frost to bother them. There's some light frost, but it wasn't, and they look a bit beat up, but they made it right through till spring. And there are areas here on our island that have had no frost, and they've gone like a full year and a half with no frost. Those are the really mild microclimates. Hey, from Atlanta, the TTM production. Sweet. So I was down there this past summer. He was down in Atlanta, my youngest son. He likes it down there. He's got a best friend that lives down there. Yeah. It gets really hot and humid in Atlanta. And then he went a little bit southwest of Atlanta too. I'm trying to think of the city or the town that he went to near Atlanta. Anyway, it'll come to me when I'm not thinking about it. But yeah, lots of palms down there too. Lots of neat things to see in Atlanta. Let's see, what else do we have here? Palms. Are you into motorcycles? Actually, you know what? You can see videos of my motorcycle here on this channel. And I think actually, I fired it up yesterday. I got a little man cave outside too, so I keep my bike in there. And I started it up yesterday. I started every 2-3 weeks. it's good to do that. It's kind of insulated and heated in there, and because I don't want the chrome to get rusty, so I take really good care of my bike, and I don't ride it in rain or anything. I just like to ride it in the nice dry weather. I used to be really into dirt bikes, and before I moved here a few decades ago, I sold my dirt bikes. I had PE 175 Suzuki, PE 250 Suzuki, and I used to do a lot of mountain riding up into the mountains and stuff and the logging roads. It was great. Does the raccoon like cannas too? Well, you know what, Martin? I used to grow canna lilies here. They don't do very well here because of our poor, dry, rocky soil. But the deer used to eat them, and so I don't grow cannas anymore. But I don't know if the raccoons would dig up cannas. They're a tuber as as opposed to a bulb, and I'm not too sure, like a dahlia, right? So, good question. I don't know if raccoons would actually eat them, but they might. And if you're worried about them, I would put a fence around them. And raccoons are here all the time. When we had more cats, we'd feed the cats outside, and the minute the cat food hit the cat dish, the raccoon would be there eating the cat food. Raccoon is big, cat's small. So the cat would sit off to the side watching the raccoon finish its cat food, and then I'd have to give the cat some food to eat after the raccoon left. Real pain in the butt, but anyway, there's a lot of raccoons around here. Palms, yeah, off-roading with motorcycles are great. How does the huge Canary Island date palm at your friend's house too? Yep, it's good. Well, I can't do an uptight anytime soon because it's over on the mainland, and since they're telling people not to travel, I don't go to the mainland because it's very expensive for one, and two, it's very far from here. Usually takes 3 hours by ferry to go to the mainland from here because it's got to stop at all the other islands. Doing is an hour and a half. But next time I am over there, I will do an update for you. Last time I was there was July at a Palm Society barbecue, and the date palm's big. He planted it 20 years ago. Trunk is, I'm guessing the trunk is over 4 feet. Maybe it's close to 5 feet tall now. The trunk is massive, massive palm, going close to his house. Maybrew 912, did you hear about the hottest temperature ever in Germany? It was it my area? 42.6. That is toasty hot. That is too hot for me. I would cook. Yeah, it's never been that hot here in Salt Spring. The highest recorded temperature here in Salt Spring is 38 degrees Celsius. So that's 100.1 degrees Fahrenheit. But the hottest place in Canada would probably be in Lytton, British Columbia, and that breaks heat records pretty much every year. It's a hot spot. It's in a desert interior region of our province, Osoyoos, Oliver, Peachland, and all those places. We have a desert. There is actually a desert in our province where there's rattlesnakes, sagebrush, cactus, and they get less than 10 inches of rain annually, and they get a lot of heat there. So Lytton, look up Lytton, BC, and I'm pretty sure they probably have temperatures like that in Lytton. I've been there once when I was a little kid, and I remember the guy, we stayed at the cabin, he shot a rattlesnake. I remember seeing the dead rattlesnake when I was a kid. I used to do motocross. That was a blast. Sweet. Motocross is awesome. I love motocross bikes. Yeah, never get sick of motorcycles. They are dangerous. Old man used to tell me that all the time. My dad passed away about 4 years ago this month, and even though he was into bikes, he's a dog and get a bit of road rash. But that's the way she goes. Life is short, right? Got to live on the edge a little, kind of like gardening on the edge. Do you think palms? Do you think you could grow Phylloxera? No, too cold. Winters. That's the problem with the interior into the Okanagan, and the winters are just too cold for palm trees. I think Sable Minor would probably work there. It is zone, I think it's zone 7. I think it's zone 7A by the lake in those areas. So it's pretty cold. Trachycarpus ain't going to grow out in the open. There are people that probably grow them and they wrap them up. Let's just see. Martin used to motocross. I'm reading all your comments here. It was Martin. It was 42 Celsius in the Netherlands last summer. Oh, I was in Ireland. Yeah, I don't think Ireland ever gets that hot. That's pretty hot for the Netherlands. That is really, really hot. I think the hottest temperature recorded in Vancouver is about 36 or 37 degrees Celsius. If you go into the prairie provinces, it's probably been maybe 40 degrees, I'm sure, maybe 41 degrees. Maybe it has been 42 degrees, but I'll have to look up the hottest temperature ever recorded in Canada. You can Google it, right? It may show up as Lytton, British Columbia, because Lytton is a hot spot. I would melt, man. I mean, I'm warm enough right now at it's around 71 degrees Fahrenheit here. It is absolutely perfect. The humidity is totally low. Like I say, it's about 40%. And there's a slight ocean breeze. You see the palms moving behind me just a little bit, just to give you enough fanning effect. And it's just so comfortable. I'm not hot and I'm not cold. I have an umbrella up to stop the sun from hitting me right now. I got a patio umbrella here, and it's absolutely perfect. The climate here, there's no extremes, right? So we don't get extremes in the winter, and we don't get extremes in the summer. That's a good thing. Palms buying a Kawasaki Vulcan. Nice. Kawasaki's are good bikes. I've never owned a Kawasaki. I've lots of Suzukis. I've had Yamahas and Hondas. They are good bikes, man. You can't go wrong with them. Japanese bikes are they'll last you a long time, like buying a Honda car. Okay, guys. Well, you know what? I think soon I'm going to pack it in. Hey, Miss T. Wendy's listening to me. She's probably on her computer. When do you want me to start making dinner? I don't want to make dinner. I hope she's going to say she's going to make dinner. I really don't want to make dinner tonight. I could make pasta. Are you guys good cooks out there? What's that? I'm talking to you. Are you making? Oh, see, I love Wendy. She's making dinner. You see, I was just bluffing her anyway. I really did.
Always make dinner.
And Wendy basically always makes dinner.
Maybe once in every 3 weeks.
Come over here and say hi. Come over here and say hi to these people.
You look terrible.
No, you look fine. Come over here. Just get in behind me here. There, stick your face.
Hi. Aloha.
Yeah.
I look terrible.
You look fine.
I've been in the yard. I've been outside.
She's building. Wendy likes to build stuff, so she's building some stuff right now. And you know what? That's a good thing, because I hate building. Wendy likes to build.
He does some of the heavy lifting.
I do the heavy grunt work. I like cutting down trees. Cutting down trees is awesome.
We have fun.
I like splitting firewood.
We make trails.
She makes trails.
We're always making gardens.
Alex says, hi, Wendy.
Hi, Alex.
Alec can't cook. Perfect.
You can't cook.
Well, I can cook spaghetti, and I can heat some canned food up. I'm pretty good. And I can make burgers, but I'm not really good with the barbecue. Wendy gives me crap when I'm on the barbecue.
Oh, isn't that nice? Martin says we look good together.
Well, that's good. Sweet.
Nice.
She looks good. She's photogenic.
The sun makes my hair look completely
She's
white.
Scottish, right? So she's a little whiter than me. I'm Italian, so I'm always going to be a little darker, right? My family comes from southern Italy, by Reggio Calabria. That's where they're from. Mm-hmm. There's palms in Scotland.
Italian.
Lots of
Bye,
palms.
everyone.
See, if there's no palms in Scotland, I could not marry her. I can't marry a person where they come from where there's no palm trees. And I found out there's palms in Scotland, I could marry her. I can make steak, sweet. Well, that's awesome. I can barbecue steak. I can throw it on the barbecue, but I'm still not the best steak barbecue. Wendy has to do it.
You are the worst barbecue person
Wendy
ever.
says I'm the worst barbecue, and that's true.
You're a guy.
So you know what I do? This is what I do, and this is her pet peeve.
So
I'll start the barbecue, I'll heat it up, and I'll toss a couple of steaks on the barbecue. Then I'll leave. No, then I'll leave.
Forever.
And she's giving me crap. She says, Joe, you got to watch the barbecue. I says, well, you know, it's fine. I got it on high. It'll be good. So then she takes over the barbecue.
Joe
That's
doesn't
why I
barbecue.
do it.
He doesn't barbecue.
I don't. No, I'm not a barbecue. I'm really not. And it's good that you can make steak, because
You make good pasta.
I do make good pasta. You know what? That's really the only good thing I can cook. Oh, and oysters. I'm good at making oysters. We got a lot of oysters on our beach. But you know, Wendy is good at sun is getting right in my eyes now. Wendy is really good at doing the panko oysters. So she puts them kind of like a panko or breadcrumbs, and they are awesome. You got to love them. Me too. Mabru 912. Awesome. That is good. Yeah, I like a good, well, Wendy likes T-bone steaks. I like a filet mignon. But you know what? I think the price of steak has gone up here now too. There's this big meat factory in northern Alberta, and a whole bunch of people in that meat factory got the COVID-19, like 300 and some people, so they had to shut it down. So price of steak gone up. That sucks. For you vegetarians, it doesn't suck. For me, that sucks. I like pepperoni, but not the hot ones. We put this on again. We have reefs everywhere. Awesome. Alec. We have we have the ocean around us, right? You know, I'm surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, so there's oysters on our beaches. But rule of thumb here is only harvest oysters. Only harvest oysters in months with R in them, right? So that's when the water's a bit cooler. You should. Am I still going? Okay, I'm still going. You should never harvest them in the warm months because of red tide. There's red tide that comes in here every so often. And you can get paralytic shellfish poisoning from them. It's very bad for you. You don't even taste it, and it can make you really sick, and you can actually die from them. What's a barbecue? The TTM production. What's a barbecue? You don't know what a barbecue is? Oh, dude, I wish I could take you. A barbecue is an outdoor stove, and it's a grill, and it's got burners on it. Fire comes up from underneath, and you throw your food on the barbecue, and it cooks it for you. So it's kind of like an outdoor oven, but it's got a lid. You lift up, and that's what a barbecue is. You can put shrimp on the barbie. You can do salmon on the barbecue is awesome. Oysters in the shell, and they'll open up when they're done. And anything you can do. Hamburgers on the barbecue. Barbecued hamburgers are awesome. Google barbecue or YouTube barbecue, and you'll see what a barbecue is. Martin, I live close to Germany, so I don't live close to the sea, unfortunately. Yeah, but Netherlands does have the sea around it. What sea goes around the Netherlands? Does it brush with the English Channel? I'm not quite sure. I should Google that. I just know Netherlands is a pretty mild area and good for growing palm trees. Grill. Oh, sorry. TTM production. You grill. Okay, so it's a grill. It's the same thing. You're right. It's a grill. We say barbecue here, and if you're in Australia down under, they say let's throw some shrimp on the barbie. But grill and barbecue is the same thing. Most people use gas grills, and old school have the briquettes. They were like a coal briquettes, and you light them, and then they burn. But we have North Sea. Oh, Martin, the North Sea.
Dig a pit like in Hawaii.
You know what they do in Hawaii, right, Miss T? Wendy says, well, in Hawaii, when you go to a luau, and they have luau's here, we have a lot of Hawaiians on our island. So what the Hawaiians do here, they dig a pit in the sand on the beach, and I was invited to one of their luau's, and then they light the fire in the pit, and they use banana leaves because I've given them banana leaves before, and then they put the pig in the ground and they bury it, and it cooks in the ground. It's awesome. It's so good. It's brined and luau pig pulled pork is the best. I have to go to sleep now. Mabru 912. I have to water my bananas in the morning. Good for you. Hey, nice for tuning in there, Mabru 912. We will see you again, and stay tuned for random live streams. You see how long I've been talking for? 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 53 seconds. I didn't think I could talk this long. Okay. Barbecue is amazing. Can't wait for the summer. It is spring here. And you know what we do here in Canada? I'm in Canada. For those you don't know, we barbecue year round. We do barbecue year round here on Salt Spring Island. So even if it's a dreary, wet winter day, we're out there barbecuing. We have a little umbrella over top of it, and it's a really nice barbecue. Wendy put it together. She picked it up at Home Debit about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever, and it works really well. Palms, how often do you recommend to water bananas? Is really possible over? No. It's not possible to overwater bananas. I remember one time transplanting some bananas for this guy. I could not believe it. He says, Joe, can you dig out some bananas for me? This was 20 years ago. He had this creek running through his yard. In the middle of the creek, he has this little mud island. The bananas are growing on this mud island. It was sopping wet mud, and they were freaking massive. They had 9-10 foot trunks, canes on these things. And so I dug them out for them. They did fine. So I got to water my bananas tomorrow too. It's getting dry here. So water your bananas if you live in the desert. Okay, Mabru. See you. Take care, Mabru 912. Join in again. Martin's on the North Sea. That's sweet. So I guess there's some regulating effect from that. You probably don't get extremes then. And is Zealand? You know where Zealand, Netherlands is? Is that right on the sea? I'm curious. I've got palm seeds sent to me from Zealand, and we actually have some palms in our nursery that I grew years ago from Zealand, and we actually have to step those up into bigger pots. Do you guys have Target in BC? Target. You know what? We had no, they had it. It was very short-lived. Remember, it was very temporary. They had it right across Canada. And it only lasted, what, a year? Was it a year?
We have sort of like HomeSense.
We have Lowe's, we have Home Depot, we have Costco, we have one called HomeSense, which is like Target. But Target, it failed. It didn't make it. And we used to have Kmart, gone. We have Walmart, and none here. By the way, there's no box stores or no fast food restaurants permitted on Salt Spring Island. So when we go to town, you're not going to see any buildings over 2 stories. And there's no box stores here. There's 2 gas stations, and the only 2 in town. And it's a village. Our town really isn't a town; it's a village, and it's a pretty laid-back place. There's no traffic lights here. There's no street lights here in town, and there's no sidewalks here. It's very rural. I work there. I could have transferred. Cool. Yeah, there used to be Target, and I wish they were here. When I used to live on the mainland, I used to go to the States a lot, and we do our grocery shopping every month in Bellingham, Washington. And I would always go to Target because there was a Target at Bellis Fair Mall down in Bellingham, Washington. I lived right near the U.S. border. I lived near Zero Avenue when I lived on the mainland. So I lived 30 miles southeast of Vancouver and about 6 miles inland from the ocean, right on the U.S. boundary. So I live very close to the border station, and we'd go shopping, get our gas down the states, and it was great. It was awesome. I do miss that, and I can't really do that here. It's too far to go. We're across the water. We're close to the San Juan Islands here, but there is a ferry from Vancouver Island that'll take you to the San Juans. Target's a great store though. They have everything. I love it. Hey, do they sell plants at Target? Is your growing zone on Salt Spring 8? No, the growing zone here, we have three growing zones here, the TTM production. We have three growing zones here, 8A, 8B, and 9A. I'm in zone 9A here on the north end of the island, a northern zone 9A, and you can watch my videos on zone 9A gardens, and you can see what we grow here. And there's some really neat gardens here on Salt Spring Island. There's mountains and hills from one end to the other. And it's a very mountainous and hilly place. I'm looking at hills all around me. There's very few flat places. It's Salt Spring is like this, 16.7 miles in length, 6 miles wide at the base at the south end, and very narrow where I live on the north end. It's probably not even a mile wide. It's very narrow. There's lots of ocean and less land up here, so that's why it's milder up here. How do Fortnite do palms? How do Fortunais do in places where the sun is really strong? Uh, Fine. You can grow them in full sun. I mean, they grow in full sun here. I saw them in Los Angeles. When we were in Anaheim, we took the kids to Disneyland in 2008, and there was a street lined with them, and they didn't look the greatest. They definitely did not look as good as the Fortuna you'll see here in the North Pacific, but they do grow in full-on hot sun, growing out of this sidewalk. They actually look kind of out of place in Los Angeles, in Anaheim. They didn't look good. There was about, I think, 10 of them growing down a roadway, and I was like, wow, those are trackies, and they looked like, well, the fronds look kind of like crap. They look like they've been maybe through a bad winter. They're kind of dried up a bit at the ends of the fronds. So if you're full on hot sun in the southern latitude, you might want to put them in partial shade. But they will grow in full sun. They just won't look their best. They will grow in full shade too, by the way. See these ones behind me? Now they're in full sun. So tree, can you see it? Let's see, where am I here? If I get out of the way. You see this tree right? Where am I pointing? Right there. See that tree right there? That tree right here with the ivy on it. I'm going to go point to it. Anyway, it's hard to see. Can you see this tree right here with the ivy on it? This was a huge maple tree, and it was casting tons of shade on these palm trees. Those palm trees actually used to grow in the shade. And you can see the video of me cutting that tree down. I cut part of it down last year, and then a few weeks ago to a month ago, I cut another 40 feet off the top of it, and then I bucked a big burrow off the top of it. That used to cast full shade, that large leaf maple on those palms. Now they're in full sun. So what's going to happen? The long extended petioles, as new petioles come out, they're going to be shortened. So if you grow them in full shade, they get longer petioles. Alec, do you guys have tsunami issues? I don't think we're ever going to get a tsunami here. I'll tell you what happened. If there was a tsunami, it would hit the west side of Vancouver Island, like Tofino, because they're on the open Pacific Ocean. We're on the inner south coast, and there's just too many islands around us. So I think a tsunami, if it hit the outer coast, it could filter through the Juan de Fuca Strait and Harrow Strait. And what would happen, I think it would rise. I think it would cause the ocean to rise a bit here, but I don't think there would be any giant waves unless there was your connection is unstable. Please wait while we get reconnected. Can you see me? Bad connection. Can you see me? Okay. So if there was a major landslide across, like in Vancouver or Bellingham or whatever in Washington State, it might cause a tsunami, but it would hit the outer islands first. Salt Spring Island is tucked up against southern Vancouver Island, and there's outer islands to us. There's a lot of Gulf Islands to the east of us. Okay, I'm good now. Can see you. Good. Thanks, Martin. Let's see. What else? In what growing zone would be your fantasy? Maui. I like Maui. So 10. But you know what? I'd really like to live in the south coast of Oregon. Brookings, Oregon, man, I could create the most ultimate jungle in Brookings, Oregon. It's Zone 9B in Brookings, Oregon. And if you've never been to Brookings, Oregon, I advise you go to Brookings, Oregon, man. I've been down to the Oregon coast a lot of times. Brookings, Oregon is my favorite. They have massive date palms. There's Washingtonias there. There's citrus. There's queen palms. There are Norfolk Island pines, huge acacia trees. It is like being in California. It is absolutely awesome. So go to Brookings, Oregon. I've even seen Livistona growing there too. What else do we have here? I'm reading your. Will take heels do better in full sun? Yes. If they grow in shade, you're going to get stretched out petioles as well. Let's just see. Is Miracle Grow good for Chinese? Yep. Miracle Grow. Mike, yes, it is. Miracle Grow is good for windmill palms. It's an all-purpose. You can use it on anything pretty much. Miracle Grow. You know what's the good Miracle Grow? And a friend of mine uses it on his bananas. It hooks up to your hose. So every time you water, it comes through with your watering. And I actually want to try some of that stuff. Most fertilizer we use here is organic, and it mostly consists of mulch, manure, seaweed, compost, and coffee grounds. And these don't have any chemical fertilizer on them, and they always stay nice and green. And notice that our palms don't have any brown leaf tips on them, so we don't get any cold wind here. And that is a killer for palms. If you have cold winds, it desiccates the leaves in a bad winter, and you can get browning on the tips as well. And even drying will cause browning on the leaf tips. Not going to kill your palm, but sometimes it looks unsightly. Fine for most palms. Yep, that'll work for palms too. Yep, even 2020 will work for palms. Grass fertilizer will work for palms. So I've tried some grass food. I hit my bamboo with grass food. We get a lot of bamboo here. Wendy and I grow a ton of bamboo. And I've hit our bamboo with grass food, and I've sprinkled a little bit around some palm trees at the fire hall, and it really greened them up. So grass fertilizer actually works pretty good too. It was 24, 4, 12, I think the number was on the grass food. Slow release, lasts about 10 weeks, something like that. Lily Miller makes a palm food. They used to sell it here on Salt Spring. I don't see it anymore. So, and you can buy it probably at your local nursery, or you can get it online. So Lily Miller palm food is good, and it's got all the micronutrients in it that palms need, often nitrogen and magnesium. A lot of times you see yellowing of palms, especially after winter. And here too, we have really fast draining soil, and you will get a lot of nutrients leached out of them. So that's why I always say top dress your palm trees. And when you water or it rains, the nutrients will leach down into the roots. And palms aren't really deep rooted either. You know, you dig out a 20-foot windmill palm, and the roots are only 2 feet deep, if that, something like that. I've dug out lots of big ones with the excavator, and they have surprisingly small root ball. They can be pretty heavy though. The heaviest palm I ever dug out was 1,750 pounds. And I know that because my buddy had a scale on his crane truck, a digital scale, because it shows you how much the boom can lift. And it was a cool thing. I got the mini excavator, dig it out, and then Brian came with his crane truck, and I hooked a tarp around it. I wrap a tarp around just under the crown on the trunk, and then a big flat strap, tie down strap, big one. And he hooked it onto the crane truck. We lifted it up, and that's when the newspaper showed up and took a picture of it. And it was in the newspaper, this palm tree. It had 19 and a half feet of trunk on it, floating around the air on this crane truck. It was in suspended animation and the root ball, and it looked pretty cool. So I plunked that palm tree beside the guy that hired me to move it, beside his house, got the hole pre-dug, plunked it right in, didn't even need guy wiring, and it didn't even go into shock, man. It was absolutely odd. Did two of them. Did two that day. Took me 4 hours from start to finish. One of them had 8 feet of trunk, and they're both still there. He's since sold the house, and he lives a little bit closer to me now, but he loves palm trees. Okay, anyway, guys, I tell you what, I'm going to say aloha to all of you here. I'm going to sign off because I smell dinner is cooking. And it's been a real pleasure. I'm glad you guys tuned in tonight. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. I know some of them aren't the best videos, and some of them are kind of short, but that's just the way it is, and they're unedited and raw. But that's my thing. I like kind of random, raw, unedited things. And if you're ever up here on Salt Spring Island, stop by and say hi, and we will put some coffee or tea on for you. I don't really drink coffee. Once in a blue moon, I'm a tea drinker. I do like my tea. I'm a teetotaler. Okay. Thanks, Martin. Have a great night. Palms, aloha. Alec, aloha to you. Dave, beautiful day in Van City. Yeah, beautiful here. It's still over 20 degrees Celsius. And hope all is well. Everybody stay safe out there. Mike, Martin, all of you guys, thanks a lot. You guys are great people. Love you, Palm people. And I will do a live stream. Could be anytime. I mean, I could do a live stream tomorrow, but I will always do one on the first Friday of every month for sure. But if you guys happen to be tuning in, you see me on there, yeah, join in, man. It's awesome. Palm Talk is great. And take care, all of you. And I will have a good dinner. Thank you very much. And cheers and aloha to all of you guys. I'm going to get a drink of water. I think my voice is going to start going hoarse. And Wendy will like that. Then she doesn't have to hear me flap my gums. All right. I'm going to end the stream. Cheers to you. And hang loose.